다 공교 그 친지가 가사가 남의 자기도 즉 규진 삼무다는 것도 하고에 명인 차대요. 가사가 다음에 시리가라 가사 쓰는 당부 제시던 것도 쓰는 가봐 가래도 수레도 가사가 다음에 시리가라 레 사보고 지부 용하고 데메스를 납고 말해. 다 당부 나한테 제주지다. 나한테 가봐지도 간대지지. 나한테 삼로야고 이딴데 제주 땅에 더니 아니 나랑도 직 나한테 투투버지 왕차와지 아니 배 리슴니가로 왕기로 봐보지 가 존생이도 어떤다 와도 요 말했을라 봐 어디 인디가라 직 된다와데 양 아주 리슴니라 왕기로 봐보 잡을다고 제번다고 지지 맞은 진술지도 어떤 진술대 까고 와래 진술 나신지 멜라 봐 어떤 인디 간사가 다음에 다음에 라바타 마임바 다음에 타무 나 랑캬투이 간사가 다음에 생겨 어떻게 조선 당고 와래 단디 당규일로인데 이 간사가 당도 아니 zembar matuba rajingi matuba rangun matuba oda ti kansaga damere ji phunso ga dandu phungbola soba ani be shindala soba tende ga dandu zembar matuba rajingi matuba sene chugi damere tagi ne kondu jugede uma rangi du jule chagor oda te ino tagi kondu juda ran madu phungbo la wanggiruba bo oda phu 리슴 니가라 왕기로 보지 진수지도 이 가고 와. 이 과는 니 나랑서 엔더지 연구하라. 어다 되기디 세보 하고 오라. 어다 돼 내라보지 삼로타는 띵승보지 유진 그 삼로타는 마도 도야 매긴 차려라. 띵원이 개침부지리. 되나 룬디라 원고 니다. 자제는 좀 가와른도 생도. 다 평규일루라 원규다 건줄 니당 자체니스 갈와레 에다 원줄에 인데고 건줄에 인데긴지 요마레 세소레 아니 자체니스 시디가 통원 원줄 템비 차라 무슨 템비 너밤에 바세 자체니 땅거리 주제 건줄 템비 차라 제바스메 너밤에 바세데 자체니 니바레 신도 건줄 템비 차라 아니 lung semen na ba me ba se ta jajeni sumbare phong unju ngazuta mi gi thong ta gi kondu jo na ji mi gi thong chela ro nyu lu la re cha nyu ti gi ti yusin shen ko ko mare nyu ta ga ra gi tu wa mi gi thong ta ga ra gi ko ta chu go re te di musu sema gi ne yo mare musu semi nyong go re 다 주제 건줄 생인데라 유전 삼다데 아니 이 유전 따의 유전을 되니 아니 이 빠베 아니 참아지기 아니 유전 법에 참아지기 아니 유도 들어인자 지바 참아시 지바 참는 너바메 봐 다네 숨바데라 오늘 나라주 직 렌디기 타지 타와세요 오늘 디링 맞은 디나는 좀 dinleyici çeydi. Yani namji saran dinleyici gala. Yani ti led kadu iş sagarese na. Tam araço. dinle le tamu ngo tawate. Aç o tuya kabore. Tadi cümlende nyaji kembe işi nyaji jül çadiyor. Ta tiyan. Nasıl sanki cümlende sanki rekep şey seni de yüzente zamanı ba. Onun cümlende 주제 권율이 통원 권율 된대기 돌아 순샤죠. 아니 주제 권율 내루 내지 남들 친지 말아봐 순샤죠. 이들랑 아주 삼었다. 제받지. 아니 점된지 순 같이는 거두면에 공바 간디지 아니 배 디나 디니지 또부터니 오다 렌디기 터지 타와 남마 나라 소수 점된지 순라 제바체는 거듭매 왔어. 아니 유진 양다지도 아니 점된데니 캠비 신야지니 아니 때 준 순과 위젠메 이게 위젠 삼로지 망보지 따네 아니 점된데 룽체마들라 이치치기로마도 배 가르쳐 버렸다 말아서 때바 코나치 아니 시럽 글릭 살때 맞투비지 이치치바이나 이 몽데스는 잘때 야가도 게 말해 딜라 삽제 용고 말해 오다 도 제바제니 점된데게 제바제서 숭도마도 즉나 상계리 네데 덴바레서 점된데 숭도 세제다에 세주도 라버탈랑 나이가 라머치 꾸치면서 숭바 오다 남체 있나 남체 텐살 레티요래 좀 좋아해 이 패키지 오다 티조 단규 룰랑가 갈와레서 숭고아이스
So for the page 304, illustrations are the impermanence of the sound and sound selflessness of phenomena. So selflessness of phenomena. When we talk about selflessness of phenomena, first, of course, here selflessness doesn't mean that the self or the person cannot create karma or activities, and we are not denying the existence of this kind of self here. So when we talk about selflessness of person, for example, we need to start from kind of identifying what is the self here, who is the self, and how does self exist, the mode of existence of the self. So generally, for us, we have a perception that I or person or self is the ruler or leader over both mind and body, and it exists kind of independently out there, the boss of both our body and the mind. Whether that kind of I exists independently, totally separate from our body or mind, we need to analyze and investigate such way of existence is there or not, the way it appears to us. So according to the middle way consequence schools, when they categorize the selflessness of phenomena and selflessness of person, the nature of the emptiness, there's no differences. But the differences is only the basis. Emptiness of the person is the person's emptiness, and the emptiness of the phenomena is the phenomena's emptiness. So the mode of the emptiness or the nature of the emptiness, there's no differences according to this school. And so again, when we try to identify, try to understand how I exist and how I appears to us, it takes lots of kind of reasoning, analysis. So moving on to the next page, 305. Therefore, in this system, a manifest object and a hidden object are mutually exclusive for ordinary beings. Also, three pairs of objects of comprehension, the manifest, the slightly hidden, and the very hidden, are asserted to be mutually exclusive. So, if these three objects of comprehension, the way it is presented, in Tibetan script or text is for the manifest object. For the manifest object, there is no contradiction from manifest reasoning, and this is like the manifest object. We mentioned before are the objects that we can perceive through our sense organ, form, sounds, odor, taste, and tangible objects. In order to see this, you don't. We said before, we don't need a reasoning. You just experience it. The taste or listen or see, That's it. They don't contradict the manifest reasoning. The second, is the slightly hidden. The slightly hidden shouldn't be contradicting inferential cognition. For the slightly hidden object, what we use a reasoning in order to prove, the existence of the slightly hidden phenomena. And the third one is the very hidden phenomena. The very hidden phenomena, refers to what is the karmic cause of, what's happening today with us. We gathered in this room at this kind of room temperature, at this weather, discussing this topic. What is the karmic cause of this? So when you try to analyze and find, try to find that cause of karmic, it is extremely, extremely hidden to us ordinary people. So we won't know that unless, so for the slightly hidden phenomena, what we rely upon is to rely upon valid scriptures. So in your note, if I read it, it says, slightly hidden objects such as the emptiness of inherent existence are amenable to realization by usual type of inference. The very hidden, such as the layout of the universe, are known through such means as inference based on the valid scriptures. So valid scriptures, again, in order to consider a scripture valid, prior to that, we has to have a conviction that that valid scripture is written or is composed by a valid Buddha. So we need to have a kind of a complete faith and trust in the Buddha, and that must come through reasoning or analysis. So how can we do that? We listen to Buddha's teaching and Four Noble Truths. We listen to his entire teaching and then see whether his teachings are valid or not. So if you come to the conclusion that Buddha's teachings are valid, then you will also come to the conclusion that his scriptures are valid, the validity. So you need to come to the validity of the Buddha's scriptures through analysis, through investigation, through reasoning, and faith alone, and without using your skillful means of wisdom, that faith is blind faith in Buddhism. So faith must always accompanied by reasoning, analysis, investigation, and so through that you can come to the point where you can rely upon scriptures which are valid. So so at the very beginning of the Buddha's teaching, that's what Buddha actually said. Just like you analyze the purity of the gold by cutting, scratching and burning. Analyze my teaching. Don't accept it just because I'm a Buddha or because of out of respect. So he didn't say that I'm the Buddha and whatever I said is correct. Follow it. He left us to investigate and analyze, and that's how we should kind of follow Buddha's teaching.
Oda niba nis ta demba nisi yadare ta tangi chi tsamini de kanaji tangi chi tsama rangi la tangi chi gi tsamar songa rangi kunzo de betsini senjini bumba tabu dela yana yada kuzo da lobe kunzo ni minjede yada kuzo mebichir kunzo ni yada maingi bichir dina loba ingi kuchir onjang kunzo lan jiden rangawe shengol tede yangla ni sunjede es oda jiden aranju jik suzuki shengol tene yangla ni sunjigire modo de modo ye yanda kunzo da lobe kunzo de dusi jidani chigmare es jiden shengol tene yangla ni sunjenan digire es so da tate oni yujen yebe kamujire 진짜 세자라 양다 세 양다 건설 세대야 용야 그런 연말와 군수미나 출바 차디여와 록시 차디여와 양다지들의 연말와 다 지된 시행올라 나랑 루출바 유된 가사 지금 몰라 또그이 출진 춘댕이 인라나 제 줄레레 장애여와 이다 양다다 예 지든 시행올라 양다 공습로도 공습세 자초를 했어 니선제대 주든 지든 시행올라 때 양다 멜론장 지진기 중인데 지든 시행올라 때 로바인 비치스 다주 세디가라 나란주 주데 군조 덴바레 디오라 군조 덴바 세디가라 로 투뱅올라 덴데겐지 시고르와 오다티 로 투뱅올라 덴디 요르디 이네 타니도 거기 다기 주기 자와강가 자제강가 제트부도 멜로나게 지진기 중인데기 타니도야 테나진 제트고미도 로 투뱅올라 덴디야나야 코 거기 로 투바테ing올라 멜로나게 중인기 주기 자와데 제트고미도 낭점 다가랑도 마도 델라비 타니도야 자와 제단 제트고미도 인디 개버지 도와지 되네 어디 즉 삼로 땅고로 어디 도스지네 지된 시험을도 양다데 아니 줍지 지된 시험을도 로바데 이 멜로나 지진이 중에 난다 가서래 사차가 치기 아니 된대지라 아니 배 타바 타오지 토나 타정 준디지미와 계속 건다 거기 지된 시험을 고속을 자쳐버려 어떤 때니 로툴에 온게 다 지난 가서 동이 마도베 가사기기 로데라 벤징이 레요래 인 벤징이 젠디요래 덴바르 젠디요래 낭징이가 요 인자 로투바레스 순거래 어디 직 몸바제 고가라스 지든 시험을 양다 지든 시험을 때도 양다 이나 유베 마캬테 주덴도 때 임비치르스 주덴버투바 지든 시험을 때도 양다레데 요 말에서 지든 시험을 양다 유베 요부 말에서 손도 어떻게 이나 그저 세보도 와세 다 어떻게 송샤
page 305, the true truths. The definition of something's being a conventional truth, or more literally, a truth for concealing consciousness, is an object that is found by a valid cognition distinguishing a conventionality, and with respect to which a valid cognition distinguishing a conventionality becomes a valid cognition distinguishing conventionality. An illustration is a pot. I'm not going to read this again.
Thank you, Tim.
So, conventional truth. This is, the true truth. This is the definition or meaning of the conventional truth according to the Middle Way Consequence Truth School. And ultimate truth, conventional, page 306, conventional truths are not divided into real conventionalities and unreal conventionalities. This is because there are no real conventionalities. For conventionalities are necessarily not real, since conventionalities are necessarily unreal. So this is the important concept here. In the sense that they appear to be inherently existent but are not inherently existent. However, relative to an ordinary worldly consciousness, conventional truths are divided into the real and unreal. For relative to a common worldly consciousness, a form is real, and relative to a common worldly consciousness, the reflection of a face in the mirror is unreal. So generally, according to this school, there is no, real or unreal conventional phenomena. Everything, if it is, conventional, it is unreal. But however, as said, relative to the ordinary worldly consciousness, consciousness which is sort of eluded, illusion, which is with the illusion, and then we can categorize into two: real and unreal. And real is the form. So the form is conventional, but it also does the function of the form that it needs to be doing. We can expect the form to be doing its function of moving or whatever the form does. But the reflection in the mirror is only the reflection. It's only that things that we see. But the form in the mirror can perform the function that the form usually performs. So the another example we can use here would be, Kishla said, stripe rope that we see in the dim light, looks like a snake, but actually not. And in our mind, our mind is saying that there's a snake out there, because the rope, how it, coil, and it's the pattern of the image, it looks like a snake, but it's not. There's no snake out there, but in your mind there's a snake. So they can also interpret as the conventional truth. So generally, ordinary worldly consciousness, without understanding of the emptiness, the consciousness that doesn't have the understanding of the emptiness is bound to experience truth grasping of the truth. That we mentioned before, without having understanding of the emptiness, we have both appearance as well as the grasping, of the true existence of the phenomena. So therefore, another way of saying is that unless we attain the understanding of the emptiness, the consciousness, the way we perceive the things, is sort of eluded, illusion. There's mistaken. Page 307, I'm reading the first paragraph. Still, whatever is real relative to a common worldly consciousness is not necessarily existent, because truly existent forms are real relative to a common worldly consciousness, but are totally non-existent. The definition of something being an ultimate truth is an object found by a valid cognitive distinguishing a final nature and emptiness, and with respect to which a valid cognition distinguishing a final nature becomes a valid cognition distinguishing a final nature. An illustration is a part's absence of inherent existence. The divisions of ultimate truths are as given above. I just read the ultimate truth, but Kishila said he haven't read in Tibetan, so I read before.
Yeah, that Tondan Bahasidi, Tartuchi Seminia de Gaji, Tartuchi Sama, Rangila Rangi Tondan the Messini Sidalare. Tatila, Tartuchi Samasidwa. You can need to know Woma, Jaljikitsema. Tartubadi, Yul Kandijina, Gitang Nilude. That Yuluma Tartu the Chadiova. That the Jijikitsema Sidugala. You tell them banging Semade, Tonam Yamja Ishi, that Jana Digore, Yamja Ishi. Tatampo, Azo Tonam Sardu Toyade, Kadito or Sidugala. Tonam Yamja Ishi, Jeda Chichachimi Ishila, any Tunjila, Tunjizangi, only Tunjizangi, Udjene, Nyambrajadi. Nyambrajadi, Jolam Chichachimi Ishi, Nyambrajaji Bengala. Any pay, Tony and the Sana Tony Bigala, any 돈함바 차버려. 가서 솔럼 졸럼 쳐져치면 이지. 졸럼 쳐져치면 이지. 땐또 지라 애니베 돈함 건도 규르마도 이 냠자로 또바다 공 패고 띵디가라 즉 냠자 이시다 돈함 냠자 이시데 그지 당보데 자메레 디거레 셰바데 아니 다 돈덤 지지기 세마 대자 우와레 오다 띵디가라 터두 지지기 세마 대자 우와레 오다 디 율리 인사 돈담 덴바 라브레 senjini pumbar hansingi mepa ona ngar hansingi mepa labna telekyam phagi ngar hansingi midu sidikala chik dua tamu ngade samtang go dua pumbar hansingi me phagi ge ta samdana chire de phagi le pumbar hansingi me lagle ngar hansingi me labna o to so nga yuetse nga enbe chik nga la mi chik no sonsa di samdang di gala tibi nga ranjing ne samraj ta na nga da kaban du tsi ta nga da rai mi do ene nga la ne ba keng mi do nga kram me na nga la no ba su ke nga ranjing gi bagin tagi ni chi ta na nga so yumo chadang kiya de nga chutu bashi samladane nga ranjingi tu bashi samladane ti dhamita chadang ki gorwa songi tobe kwete korande songi tenam bayo kobade danji maril banno ya de tere mado tille shanta yomara songi tenam banne kumbe dange songi tolam bebe mari banno nugu mido ina danji Pumba demra jebe denjin de kegir mado mari bale nugumida mari bade nga demra jebe denjin de chayor mado di wangi khora khor bora ke chechode nga rajing maduba chadiyo ke chimbaji ani pundara muje sundwa sui songi tona sangin jitin jume kobatuba yin se sundwa te kar kwaji tuwa, tila yuzen tuwa. Sui songi tona, sangin jiten jubi kuba tubi yinsi, kala karase kore. Sangin jiten peya de, tonda, chik kepa kenyam tenya jitan, chik pagi, duljan la pagi, ungol juya tende, tonda la peyo marwa. Mari badanji, mari ba keya tonda la peberwa. Chanden degi, chedu chaven dulji maribai nyumo maribade seleaton dal pherewa he undigala tendel gite khonangi ten zamotomani tenni selera mada temada jada selemido chesa sai tela songi sui songi to na tela sangi jitin jibu ko batu bere se sungade yujendwa is chik ngone pech moje te indigala mazu tonnam demba yulgi nilu nga rajingi moduwa ti yang yang to gombaje to samraji ta e yawang ardanda je yang de mo jiban ngobon de jings ta di yang tangi tumu maimbe ji de jiban obo si de gala chirul tenyang kelende zunjin ngo tadu tu bichiris zunwa den zimbani ngo tadu tu kuris ta 나저저거 우마라기 봐. 제 센잠바. 텐디나 준진 못하데 두나 마디 인디구나. 수다 준진 참아니 지진 도고 와라. 가르잖아. 주테 준진 참아다 지진서 인당 가르잖아. 주테 셰페 파자 센도 블루투브로 시고와. 제상 파자 키제 파자 찔레 케레스 순고와. 이긴데 chikres tandapi baja se tesam gombaji go ma zuda zunji chamani ze thade yul chiden kelengi genji chade 되게 개발지 요레스
So the definition of the ultimate truth as read before, an object found by a valid cognition distinguishing a final nature and with respect to which a valid cognition distinguishing of final nature becomes a valid cognition distinguishing of final nature. An illustration is a part's absence of inherent existence. The divisions of ultimate truths are as given above. So the ultimate truth here refers to the actual truth that is perceived only by the a valid consciousness. So here the ultimate valid cognition, ultimate valid cognition here refers to the we can say meditative equipoise of the path of seeing. Path of seeing, wisdom of meditative equipoise, and that is also the stage where practitioner attains the understanding of emptiness. And so when we look at the 5th stage in the path of preparation, accumulation, preparation, and then path of seeing. So during the final moment of the path of preparation, and the final moment is the supreme dharma. If you remember, there are 4 stages of the path of preparation, and the final moment, the supreme dharma stage of the path of preparation, practitioner attains what is called the generic understanding of the emptiness. And the next moment, within the same continuation of meditative equipoise, they attained the actual or the direct realization of emptiness. And they attained this valid cognition or wisdom realizing emptiness or path of seeing. So the example here mentioned is path's absence of inherent existence. So if you use a person yourself, that might be more actually effective. In a path, when we say path's absence of inherent existence, we are talking about object out there that is not directly related to yourself. But if you use your own self, person lack of inherent existence, then you need to think, are you saying that person doesn't exist at all? Are you saying that you don't exist at all? So when you try to find that self or person or I on yourself, it's unfindable. You won't be able to get that person or self on your body, and and that is important to understand and analyze, because all of the negative emotions, hatred, anger, attachment, this arises because of the strong grasping to the independent, self-sufficient self that we have, and and it's more kind of productive, effective for our practices. We can use path, and I try to understand the lack of inherent existence of the path and understand the emptiness of the path, but the understanding of the emptiness doesn't directly kind of oppose ignorance mind. Therefore, a great master, Kongdan Rinpoche, has said that whoever attains the understanding of the emptiness has accomplished the purpose of Buddha coming into the world. So, and of course, when Kongdan Rinpoche said that there's a reason behind this expression, Buddha came to the world, of course, not to show his scholarly kind of understanding of the phenomena, or not to entertain or cheat his followers, but his main purpose is to help eliminate the ignorant mind of sentient beings. So therefore, if you also attain the understanding of emptiness and eliminate the root cause of the suffering, you have accomplish the purpose of Buddha's coming to the world. Moving on to the next, furthermore, a pastness, a futureness, and a disintegratedness are asserted to be functioning things. capable of producing an effect rather than permanent phenomena, as the proponent of Sutra, proponents of mind only and autonomous assert. So this is a very unique assertion of the middle way consequence schools. They considered disintegration as object or phenomena, or functioning thing. And all other school doesn't agree with the middle way consequence school on this concept. Also, the consequentialists assert external objects because they assert that apprehended object and apprehending subject are different entities. So if you look back and in the mind-only school actually asserts, exact opposite here. To the mind-only school, apprehended object and the apprehending subject should be of the same entity, because mind-only school says that when you see things out there, you are seeing because of the awakening of your mental imprints. So the apprehending consciousness and the apprehended object out there are basically of one entity. They are same. So here, the consequence schools are saying totally different. They're saying that object out there and the consciousness seeing their object is totally different entity. They are not same or. So these are some kind of important concepts here. So I will stop here and we'll. So here you can also remind yourself what His Holiness said during teaching of the Heart Sutra, that the form is empty, emptiness is form, and form is not other than emptiness. And His Holiness said that instead of saying form, use I. I is emptiness. Emptiness is I. I is not other than emptiness. So when you kind of use that understanding, and that will make your I, which we grasp very kind of strongly, permanently, can become fragile and kind of can be sort of more easier to get destroyed or disintegrated.
media yo mar sang
So and especially when we use I instead of form, I is empty, emptiness is I, because using I itself can be very helpful, because when we say I is empty, I doesn't exist independently. Before saying that, you need to identify, you need to know what is I, so it will help you to kind of think more deeper, on I and what is the mode of existence of I. And there are different assertion. For example, Jijun Randawa, a scholar, he asserts that self exists, inherently exists, and self exists, and when he says self exists, and on the other hand, Lama Tsongkhapa says that asserts the selflessness. So when you look at these two, it seems that they are kind of contradicting. One scholar saying self exists, but Tsongkhapa saying self doesn't exist. But under kind of deep analysis, both are saying the same thing. Randawa is saying that self exists in relating to the self that creates karma, that experiences the karmic result. While Lama Tsongkhapa is saying that self doesn't exist, from the perspective of inherently, existing or independently existing. And of course, when Lama Tsongkhapa says that, he does agree with the Randawa that there is a self which, creates the karma. There's a self which experiences the result. And self, I, person are basically refers to the one same thing. So these are some kind of crucial or critical point or concept that you can investigate more, learn more. And Geshe-la said what he can offer is sort of offer you the key, and then you need to open the door inside the treasury house and pick up whatever you want or investigate more. So you need to do more than kind of just listen. So we still have, Geshe-la said, 2 more weeks or 2 classes before he leave for India. So he said he will will continue. Not sure whether we will finish the remaining text or not, but if we couldn't, then he will continue when he get back from India. So any questions? I thought you were saying hi to me.
Hi.
Yeah.
Since ultimate and conventional truths are interdependent on each other, isn't ultimate truth also not inherently real?
Tendam temba the kunzu temba ni pazu tendero wasa chigul tenchi tendero. Kunzu temba the kunzu to tendam temba de ani khasa kunzu temba gi tendam temba de kunzu temba da chiba do maru elo do tendam temba da kunzu
ngoji la do bathade reswa ngoji la do bathade rede kang densa de khabar yores kang densa de desolole khabar yores ani kunzu demba zidigala lo kunzu bengo den insa ngara su su ke onyi mata ba kansa ngol den insa kunzu demba ze chabare tandam demba sri lo yang taba sema phaba nyamja ishi ngol den insa tandam demba che chabare ina demba ni no ngochi lo doba thade di par parjin chitu de yi chene ye ya ringi ngochi maina kyonsum doba thade maini kyonsum teli ore ni chi ringi de tengi de me.
So true truths are considered as having a same nature but different entity. I think that's the word that is used. Same nature with different entity. And both are called truth. But truth to which consciousness or to whom is the different. So as we said before, conventional truth is true to the mind of ordinary consciousness, while the ultimate truth is the truth to valid cognitive mind or the consciousness of the arhat or superior being, or somebody who attained emptiness. So Gujarat said he don't remember exactly, when we look at the perfection of wisdom text or scripture, especially where at the section where true truth is neither one nor separate. The text deals with there are three fallacies if true truth are not of the same nature, and then there are three fallacies if true truth are not, if true truth doesn't have a separate entity. So there are three fallacies. So basically, true truth is considered as having a same nature but different entities. Does that make sense, or is that?
Can you give an example of something that
has
an ultimate truth that doesn't have a
Zembe lendegin Nishiji Zingiore, they trampi easy the drawing him loki gore. That Tilbithang in Nelu, Mima, the Tilbu the Karatingu, Tilbithang in Nelu, Muma the Chaingal, Tiburanjing Nepathing Nigger mother, Tiburang Yamido. Having Yamja Ishigula, Tigula, Karsa, Yamja Ishi Sidigala, Tela. Karsa varta nyamja bala treba mambuji ka gorwa chujingi treba de ka gore ani renjingi treba de ka gore ninangi treba de ka gore treba sidigala chik hagi Nyamjab Lola Kayulgi, Tajima was it in his card of water.
So when we look at this bell, to the ordinary consciousness, ordinary mind, identifying this object as a bell, we look at the bell, and then there's a grasping that there's a bell here, and that kind of consciousness called Chipuresa made the what is it?
Tadang, what's it? Susula, what's the Tony Toy Marwa? Mato the Gala, Venam dancing, you Kachadio. Yodigalta, Nishi digi, Tributu Nangorite, Nandugala. Venang the Devagoni, Tribu the Nang Warwa. Nishitiki. Nishitiki that Tribu the Nang, Dember, Venang the Devagon and Nang Dugala, Pagini of his, so to be was in Nangore. They are naging Ishigi, Nepate, Tribu Pagini of his Nangore. Pagin drunk me. Your resident, your Marwa. He may be Tati Karzana, Yuna, Nyamjapala Nangurwa. Nyamjapala, Chijingi. Tributang in Neluti, Tributang in Tongi de Riorwa. Nyamjabala Tongi to Nangorwa, Chujin the Nangamidwa. Any Gacha the Nangamidwa. Ninang, Yuljen Tade to Nina the Nangamidwa. Cheta, Nyamjabala, Chujingi Tupa, Ninanga Tupa, Gacha Tupa Kanga Kepa. 대 유전지 도와 디바진 지 상당히 유지를 성공하랬어.
When we look at the the bell object by two different consciousness, one ordinary consciousness that we have, and another by the consciousness of the at the path of seeing, or wisdom of meditative equipoise. So when we look at the bell, we see with many kind of exaggerations, that the bell exists inherently, independently. It's from its own side, objectively, and likewise, not only eye consciousness apprehended that way, the mental consciousness, which immediately follows the eye consciousness, also has the same kind of understanding, conviction that bell exists out there independently, objectively. But that is not the reality. If that is the reality, the same should be perceived by a valid cognitive mind of the wisdom of meditative equipoise. To the wisdom of the meditative equipoise, or the consciousness that understands the emptiness, to them they don't see the same thing as the ordinary mind sees. They see the bell totally free from what we call exaggerations. There is no duality. There is no truth grasping. So these exaggerations, devoid of all these exaggerations, they see the emptiness of the bell, rather than kind of the bell existing from its own side, or objectively, or independently, or inherently. Is that so generally it says that wisdom with the meditative equipoise, or somebody with the understanding of emptiness, when they look at the things, it is devoid of three exaggerations. And the three exaggerations are the exaggerations that when we see, we see with these exaggerations that so duality, that is three exaggerations, is the four exaggerations, exaggerations of the object itself, the exaggeration of the truth grasping, the exaggeration of the duality, and the exaggerations of the negation. So these are the four exaggerations that to wisdom of meditative equipoise they don't have, while ordinary consciousness does perceive things with these exaggerations.
What are the Dribajin Gasana, Samadana, Dinis Samadana, Tanangi Kajala Sanet, George Legiores. There's some numbers.
So, if you think about these four exaggerations and how ordinary consciousness, possess these four, while, understanding of emptiness, with the understanding of emptiness, consciousness doesn't possess these four, then, it will kind of lead to the understanding of, the differences between ordinary, the conventional and ultimate.
Then they watch him well.
Karada Dawachimboris.
And the Kajish Nyamjape Yulchini Minang with it. Minang with it, Chujin Minang with it, Nyamjapala, Drubachak, Nyamjape Kagdwa, Nango Marwa. Woman Pagi Gina, Tai Nyamjapala Nangua, Nilu Majina. You cool, Lokshe, Tulshi, Druba Insan Nango Marwa, Lotundundela.
So the exaggerations are, these are, when we say exaggerations, it refers to the illusion, mistaken, not meaningful. So if these are all, something meaningful or valid, then it should be comprehended by wisdom or meditative equipoise consciousness of mind, but they doesn't. When they look at the things, they only perceives lack of inherent existence or emptiness part.
What was the third exaggeration?
The first one is exaggeration of the object. Second is truth grasping. Third is duality, dual appearance.
Duality of subject and object.
And then fourth is object of negation.
The negation of the inherent existence of the object.
Is that right? No, yeah, what you're saying, the negation of the...
Yeah, object of negation.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Negation
yeah.
of the inherent existence
You can say.
of the object. Thank you.
In a way, don't negate it too much, just a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some shadows, Shuma dura yomaro.
Sunday Saturday yomare.
Coming Saturday we don't have a class, but Sunday we have.
Okay, no Saturday class?
Yeah, it's Celebrate Tibet or yeah.
6 o'clock, St. Luke's.
Yeah.
RSVP by Wednesday, $20 for all.
Go ahead. I apologize if I'm speaking I actually have a two-part question about the difference between a manifest and a hidden object. One, is a manifest object one that requires the experience itself, or the cognition that the object, for example, the object is a bell, and then realizing the nature of bellness? Or is a manifest object one that you just experience and require no cognition whatsoever? A little unclear on that. For example, if I notice a zebra, is just the experience of seeing that object the manifest object? Or is the noticing that it is a zebra without any further wisdom or reasoning the manifest object itself?
Okay. Kwan chua din sa kasa. Ngunjur da gojur la chura. Ngunjur la de ani the pesha na chundu ro simje thong ba da shin da zebra ro thong ba da shin da thong zam tha rang sha wo sa thong ye nyam nyung zam tha rang sha wo re yan di ma yin be ge ngunjur la de zam ba ya di ma yin be ge da ji ge jumze shimba da ke go ji kyo go yo ma ro thong tha rang sha go go ro sa
다 통화 나 nyongwa da mo chule shi na tagaran sha gore isi. Yang nyongna yang nangla mange ba tendi na ndigu mara isi.
So yeah, generally that is right. Experience, simply the experience and seeing, whatever the object is, but that seeing or experiencing should be, you see it and then you also kind of has a conviction that I saw that and that's the object. So otherwise, there are ways of seeing things which, we see the things, but at the same time, we were not sure whether that object is the one that, we were not sure whether that object that you saw is the right object or not. So, we call it, has appearance but without conviction, so that it shouldn't be like that. If you see things, then, it must be seen with conviction. Does that answer your question, or I mean?
That does. That actually leads me to the second question.
Okay.
And does that, because I understand you're looking at the same object, whether is does the object then transform into a hidden object if you understand the subtle impermanence of it?
mida watawa da hakos narwa ani ngobu kharene ge di ngobu de mida watawa da hakos na mida ba di ngobu di kharsa kokyu la gyur dugo wesa
tenderin gyur roye yo maresrwa kongyura mar tare mida watawa khorang kongyur ze ma to perna tilbundi mida bade tilbundi ki chechirwa Nitaba Tawada Hakun Tibu Kongurindoe, Kunioma. Da Karayorzana, Mitaba Tawada Hakona, who Hagi round troops in it. Kichi Deomeba Bay, you can tell a mother of Koran troops on Tuaji Inza Jeeping mountain, you can tell a Tubu, Mari. Koran to be, you can talk on Tuaji, Hako Yondugala, Karajan. That is. Hadi tribu samna jab ma maimba rang la ja che tu chwe na teni chwe la jengul da teni mo che so gi bezo che ya ki ngam shu ji ga ji da eni tanjin so che cho rang ta par mi tanjin de do ya la chbar chung ga is.
So there's no actually transformation, if you understand the subtle impermanence. Let me know if if the question is not asked correctly. So we said, he used the example of the bell. When you understood the subtle impermanence of the bell, what you understood is you understood the attributes or qualities or nature of the bell. By understanding, by gaining that understanding, there is nothing changed on the bell itself. The bell is impermanent. It is there as it is from before. So you gain when you gain the understanding that the bell is a subtle impermanence of the bell or on the bell, you realize is that there is a momentary changes going on that bell. Right from the time when bell came into inception or when bell came into being. So since the changing is the inborn quality of the bell, the momentary changes doesn't need to rely upon outside factors and conditions. Just being a bell, is impermanent. It keeps kind of changing moment from moment, and that the bell doesn't need outside factors to be impermanent. So the important thing here is that you need to apply that understanding to yourself. When we apply that to ourselves, we know that we keep changing moment to moment, and for that we don't need outside conditions. Just being a human, just being a composite phenomena, right from the time we came into being, we are impermanent. We're born with that attributed quality. So when you have that understanding, it immediately immediately eliminates the innate feeling that we have that I am permanent, I stay forever, permanent grasping, and with that you don't need somebody making you to practice. The practice comes along with it, with the understanding of impermanent. So therefore, the understanding of subtle impermanence is considered as a very strong force, for practitioners to start practicing and understanding the real situation of one's own body.
나자 용거리 삼삼지다 류는 규와 용거리 삼삼지다 되네 텐사와니 용거 말아 니마지 톱 되게 인거 딱 오니 때 민더버 토도 봐 동안 된 용도 가라 아 시보지 삼나 동안 좀 벌레겨 간지 미다바 참으시 하거나 오다 띵이 민더버 토도 봐 동안 된 레용도 가라 동안 하마고 그냥 하고 있냐 눈알 치중이 개발 첨부시고 왔다. 와도 매 비켜버려. 이 양지 기생 첨부시고 있어. 지금 남다스 지난 국민선은 지 말해. 이 양지 버려.
And there's also, another important point is when you have, understanding of subtle impermanent, or when you try to, gain some understanding of subtle impermanent, it makes a great, big difference, especially when we experience something kind of dramatic change within our body, illness, or, when that sort of things happens. Because people who don't have that kind of, understanding always have a feeling, I said before, I will stay healthy for a long time, not dying, kind of this very grasping to permanent, thing. So when they experience sudden illness, immediate kind of, they kind of, they also experience kind of shocking, stress, difficulty, problems, very kind of, mentally extremely difficult to deal with. So if you have kind of, understanding and, some familiarity with the subtle impermanence, you know that that's part of yourself. You go along with it. There's a big difference of how mentally, these two people deal with the, this kind of illness or, the problem that we face in our daily life.
더금 때가 렌데기 삼로지 땅투비나 다서 겨왕하면 두모마인베 가면 레기 니바 첨부지 레랭함바지 사요 된 리부리 티 센딜레 멤버데 야부 중에 더러 겨와 제말은 수지치니 미니나 안동아선 미나 유이림보 나주 첨보 딜이 쳐요 다나도 수지니 딜레 멤버 야부 중에 더러 어떻게 해야지도 눈알 알 눈알 제일 더디 어떻게 해야지도 이 암산 무지미데.
On top of that, if you also use the understanding of the cause and effect precepts or law of causality, you can further reduce the level of mental suffering, because with this understanding, you can look at your kind of suffering of illness as this is actually a good opportunity for me, because I need to experience the result of karmic deeds that I created before, maybe in earlier life, and experiencing on human state is most kind of easiest to deal with. And if I experience the same thing, level of suffering in other form like animal or lower rebirth, then it would be too long, or hell rhythm, extremely difficult, lacking of all facilities. But when you are human, and so sometimes it becomes kind of, it will bring you sort of strong positive way of looking at the illness or negative things, that I'm glad that this happened to me at this time, so your mental kind of suffering or stress or all these problems really kind of goes down. So the it's kind of psychologically, although at the physical level you are pain, suffering, but mentally there is no kind of suffering. Instead, it brings joy sometimes. Matt asked. Matt, did you ask a question?
I got a real simple, quick question.
You think? Whoa!
No respect. I feel like Rodney King.
You're saying that answer need to be short, right?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying
a short
that
answer. I think there's a short answer. I just wanted to. It's not really a question. It's just a request, really. This the direct perception. Let's see.
Page 309.
The uncontaminated meditative equipoise.
Mm-hmm.
Expansion
short
upon
chita
that.
koran jo koran nelle me short chita re midula.
I know that's a deep subject. Okay. So, what I want to ask is the developing that skill set in Tibetan Buddhism is something I'm interested in. How we might, since that is the pretty much punchline to all this stuff, I'm wondering if maybe in the future we could explore that. I'm just asking that question, if that would be a possibility. You know, how we might develop those skills.
Which skill?
Meditative equity.
Meditative equivalence. Oh my goodness.
Uncontaminated equity.
Uncontaminated.
It's gonna come later in Liberation Song.
Okay, but it's also
Uncontaminated
like practice. My
because
understanding is
상맥이 kalawati tablam la gore. The tablam di kia la ina khari di chogore sa khandesi kia to well tabje khari la gore chedang gat kia
냠는 제거레스. 너르드나? 쉔이 셰바진이 냠는 전에 케그레스. 키에 바래 키 룸와래 케그레스. 냠는 맞아 단단한 진짜인데 나는 요아요 말만 지고 그게 고충 말해. 소아치 좀 제거레스.
So there is that in brief, we need to do a practice.
Right.
According to what Scripture says. So and it needs a great effort, and so because if we make an effort according to the stages or path that is shown in the text, these are achievable. And it won't, benefit or gain, the way we do right now. Because, right now what we do is, if we have a mood or if we have a time, we do. And if we are not, if we don't have enough time, we just, leave it. So it needs kind of, regular, continuous effort or practice. So we can,
우먼주베나라 손놈 사오래 차서 오라카라 딘디지네니 나라사 아니 저도 니지곰도나 뱀미스비 야버라 다들 대체 뭐래.
So also in the text, engaging in the middle way by Chintakriti, mentioned other kind of things that, basically everything comes under kind of creating a positive merit, and that includes, along with the practice, recitations of mantra or prostration, and specifically, like Gajala said, meditation on compassion and practice of compassion are the ways that can, bring ourselves closer to uncontaminated.
Was that yes?
What?
I thought it was a simple question, like yes or no. I mean,
Gajala said, if you can make an effort, then yes. If without effort, then no.
But I was just what I was wanted to ask Keishlo is its continued guidance in down this path. I mean, that's a really big area to learn more about, especially the meditative aspects, which my understanding is that requires, yes, a lot of effort and practice, but also guidance. So that's what I was.
냠랜드 냠도 디고레 사갈라고래 람드윈 칭엘라고래 게겐라고래
람든지니 여무실라 여마레스 여무실 가서 read more think more sung도 마도 don't think sung다.
So they said, at this point we consider the best guide or the teacher is living one is His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And he always says, read more, think more, So without doing this, of course, we won't move step forward in our practice. So there must be a reason His Holiness doesn't say that, make yourself entertain, go to a bar, drink, enjoy. He doesn't say that, as a part of practice. So then, Okay, last question. You want to ask?
My question was, someone who is suffering but is not Buddhist,
Uh-huh.
as a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
what would be a benefit in terms of helping them see that they're suffering?
Nangpa mayimbe jila de kandes ti chitu gore sa da dunge di kogap sangbo jimba ka gore. Shen la nangpa mayimbe jila tab kandes roba chitu gore sa. Ka ishu do jinde cheba do jinda nyamne chingde le na. Da nangbe toni na samda do samda ne.
다 소치쇼 미 파조들라 따고레스 파조드 미디 구야모지데 디나 고 야한테라 바비 제시잖네 동아세야 삼시지야요레 미 파조드 푸스도 싶으시나 아니 지삼시 같은 게 요마르스 또 파고들 때기 율레 때기 누구로 마도 타지든 디르지 이건 요마라
So you said it depends on
men da nabar nazakare pemme bene nazakare yume te tagide mendi zaajam sigoro rindang kone mendi yabore se amido nazal penna mendi yabore nazatele mapen mendi yabu marwa this one
you said it depends on that somebody person or whoever is suffering and so if he or she is more kind of open-minded, and if you think that through Buddhist approach, if that is going to benefit, help relieve suffering, then you can help. If he or she is suffering with kind of is with very kind of narrow-minded, not open, then bringing Buddhist approach might not benefit, might hurt or harm himself or herself. So it's like a when you look at the value of the medicine, we don't kind of measure how expensive the medicine is, whether, rather how actually, it benefits, certain individual. If that same medicine is, cure the illness of the person, that medicine is valuable, good, expensive. If the same medicine doesn't, help cure the illness, it really doesn't matter, whether you take that medicine or not. So you need to look at the situation and circumstances.
Daya soso nambayin phama tende da ni du tende churu jamba yimbayina soso ngani samlada da phachana to phen yore soso nyindi yimbi chane phengire dan de da kadambe ke shi sungwa nyinde gi chane phendo yekyo ane lalo gi chane phendo yekyo 융오보 지바이나 때니게 전에 변다 이거 니양 송도 때니 주 가가지고 제가 가가지고 시도하래
낭배기 점다는 시시시나
소소 나바지 아니 소소 닝니도 되는데 이슈 담보이나 소소 응원이 바기 낭비 다져나진지네 냐는지 아니 콜라 로왕오구이나 핑기어레스
ngwe de loge pe but another way of saying it's separate, but if you want to benefit somebody who is not a Buddhist, but yourself being a Buddhist, especially somebody who is your family member or relatives, or having same kind of within the same maybe sort of partnership in business, that's directly related to you. For those people, you can dedicate the practice that you do for their healing or their benefit. So there is a saying like that. One of the Kadamba Master says that if there's some sort of special, unique karmic connection, then your dedication can, help, within this circle.
Offer your suffering to God, but also use your suffering to become a better person.
Junalede samdanda yorese
동해디 디치에 줘라 남도 캐래라고 그래. 연 동해디 군주를 피해라고 그래. 신바치도 동해 냥아 줘라. 이신하고 되는 상당히 열애로도.
열려도. 이건 무슨 야불 왔어. 이거는 야불했어. 얘는 뱅게는 냠렌적으로 말도.
So they said if there is a that kind of practice, then it is good. But simply existing doesn't help. One need to use it. Yeah, last Matt.
Yeah. What is Geshe-la's advice for how to continue studying after he leaves, like after this is over? Because I feel like there's like really good momentum, I don't know if that's the right word, after His Holiness' teachings and everything that was leading up to that. And then we're getting ready to finish the text. Like, should we continue to come together as a group, even though Geshe-la is not here to continue? Like, what I'm asking is, like, where does this go after the Prasangika chapter has ended? And after he leaves for the dock?
그래서 페사스는 딱 컨테스트 쪽으로 해서 고슬로 쉬쉬하려고 그래. 장군은 뭐지 단다 페사스 엔도 진단다 내고는 그 대비 가려고 그래. 뉴발라고 그래 다들지기 사수도 고 숙제도 고 쉬우시도서 하는 게 저도 스페 페드로사스네 다 모티네 컨테스트 쪽으로 다 코나스데 모티인데 용 로벤치 되는 되게 다데 쇼 컨테질 두고나 계시라람도 가려나 해서
어느 전에 Saba yungayina gambatu zu toto se lawi china. Mindi ke amar samudus. Me te tola sama mambo tangi. Tang ngo shiba ke shitende pa language samju. Pe leya la penjur korang daya korang do. Kangal do. Te leya kangal yore. Ninchi penjur ki gebden yabo mena chiki 지부 망부제는 수도 누군가에 연가도 와. 이돌아 선제생에 망부죠. 제스키는데 엔저페 냐타 버려. 아니 딱이나서 감바감바도 좀 가만히 온다는데 저기 사바 용는데나 지 오늘 남된 채트나 빼면서 야벌 섬게스. 아니 계속 가만히 라인 좀 다다서 지 소소게 is Chila, ya lavre tantos rolling the chilina, Yavers de Donas Jangin Shiramidosi. Any Dona Jangin Mena, G. Lamdena, the Kachapanga Jimbarves. So that Arsa, what member to study Chenda Havaris. Any Chenda of Kangatona in a Cosi study Chetigala young race. Utache wares. Take chambers. Another Nejane Yoram Jipene, Shiragi Sasaruru, Zorajika Midota, Nichong, Ngatu, Din Mother, Shiragi Kever Mido. And Kashet read the business in Redo. Even Keversake, Keversake and Rumor Samutus.
So they said that one thing that you can do is there are people here who has been quite long time coming to the teachings, and so the sort of senior student, and they can initiate and start especially for the beginners or new people, they can maybe teach or maybe discuss or have and another thing Geshe-la mentioned before is during the Tenets class forming a discussion group and come and discuss. But it seems that Geshe said that seems that there weren't enough interest among the people. So if people were not that much interested, then his suggestions or advice would be it's sort of meaningless without any purpose. So it's really up to people what they want, and if they want to come together, and he said that there are other people who kind of suggest the same thing, when he leaves. And Larry also mentioned, this to Geshe-la. And, also he thought about that, bringing maybe temporarily some other teacher, but for that, we need financial support, and, at this point we won't have. And it also, you can also, Geshe said, the board members, they can, meet together and discuss and come up with something that can, have or come up with the, program or activities during Geshe-la's absence.
member da tona yungin jona saja yare ene kati chechi bo mai na kanga ruru che samdela khala da sa samdela movie da ta ndamira karchi chi do achi jingin de na jingin mandana de ngande na ke gesen ke mido.
So we said, he's living so he's leaving, not because he's leaving for India, not not leaving for like vacation or for having a good time. He's going mainly to see his aging father. His dad has been really old, and for quite a long time when he contacted India, they're saying that he's healthy, but when he told them that his flight is confirmed and he's coming, they're saying that he's not quite well, he has some problems. So, and all of you know how parents and spiritual teachers are to us in our lifetime, how important. And his father is also his teacher, who taught him the basic kind of alphabets, and so he wasn't able to go to India when his root spiritual teacher passed away because of financial problems. So this time he's going kind of to see his dad, and also to see the the stupa built for his spiritual teacher. So kind of trying to they said we have a space in house here. So if you want to do something, maybe with your board members can arrange it. There are a lot of things that you can do. Can have a potluck party, watch video, form a discussion group. And, who watch His Holiness teachings on DVD or TV, or there are a lot of things that you can do. But if people don't have a interest, then it doesn't matter even if he's here. So.
We're going to have a board meeting Friday the 11th at 6 o'clock. And that's exactly what we're discussing. So everybody must come and be a part of the discussion so we can walk the news.
다른 주제를 뭐 정도 소고 인사들이 미 용나 대여서 가서 요새 삼수되는 데나.
네. 근데 인전에 간삼래다 로딜 바베 간삼지리 지단에 야가 때게 말해. 뉴욕에 로 니수중주성에 나춘준들이 제 대합니다. 약간가 양. 저서 닝바든이나. 엔들 바랑아서 저서 우지래.
So is that center is as compared to some other center, we come to quite long, way, and it's kind of successful comparatively. There are some other centers in big cities like New York. They're still in a small space without permanent, residents. But compared to them, we have, we came kind of in a successful way, and we have a place and house and Sangha members. So I mean, you can do a lot of things.
소 계속 tumboja 거래스로와 용연도 tumbo지 노사 진딜잖아. 이야기 누구리? 아니 소소 장세 지자한테 되어래. 때 야부 용구를 선거도 없이. tumbo 맞아지 질질 견제제 내배도 시전되나? 안 되나 다가 만드는 다가 강할 때 퇴퇴는 되고와. Rawe Kurve Jingamde Pendang Dewa Malinju Chere Dewan Tenzin Jato Yi Jabe Se De Bado Tenju Jambal Bawe Chindara Kembo Tong Kundu Zambo Teyang Tejindu Teda Kunge Jesu Yawan Deda Tamje Rabdo Tisum Sheve Yawa Tamje Kengwa Kanla Chodo Lajin Gave Tawan Digun Yang Zambo Cheche Rado